Oh my gosh, look at that! And it's reduced. They want to sell it and they want to rent it. This is the perfect lease option. Oh, look at this. 1996, this little property was 60 grand, and today they want to sell it for 360. You'd pay £1 now, and you would pay the 360,000 in 10 years' time. £911 for 2 nights. Welcome to Property Investing with Abi. On today's episode, I'm talking rent to rent. What's that, Abi? It's illegal. No, it isn't. If you do it properly, it is not illegal. So what do I mean? So this is very close to my heart because 6 years ago, this is where I started property investing. So I basically went to the Peak Districts, found a landlord who would give me 2 of their properties, and I rented them per month. And then what I did was put them on Booking.com, Airbnb, and I made the difference from what my guests were paying me to stay short term with paying the landlord's rent. The typical rent to rent should make you minimum from £1,000 up to 3-4 grand net a month. So what I'm going to show you today is just a bit of a whistle-stop tour on how you find a rent-to-rent and how you look if it's good or not. The biggest thing you need to understand about rent-to-rents is you do not own the asset. You're not going in here, you're not doing a massive refurb unless you agree a lease option where you purchase it later on. The beauty of rent-to-rent is the landlord does all of that. You should walk in, pick up the keys and just furnish it. Big thing with rent-to-rent is the landlord has to know what you're doing. This isn't pull the wool over the landlord's eyes. This is the landlord fully understands what you are intending to do with a property, and it needs to be on the right legal contracts. You cannot do this on an AST because it is illegal, and you should do this professionally through a limited company. So a few things to think about and some compliance stuff with a local council, because the last thing you want is to agree this, pay some rent, and then you've got the council at your door. So the first place I am going to go is I am going to go to Zoopla. There's more letting agents on Zoopla than RightMove because Zoopla's cheaper per month than RightMove is. So if you're a letting agent, it's Zoopla you're at. So we're on Zoopla and we're going to go to rent. Now, what area are we going to do? Tell you what, we're going to do the Peak District. So I'm going to go to Baslow. Don't really care about bedrooms at this stage, and we're going to have a look for properties to rent in Baslow. Here we go. So I've got one in Matlock Bath. Oh, that needs a lot of work. So straight away, not interested in that as a rent to rent. Potentially lease option. We've got a little property in Bakewell. Now, I think I've seen this for sale. Let me have a look because this could be a lease option. Rent to rent is where you literally just rent the property. The landlord still owns it. You never buy that property. You just pay rent to the landlord. Every 5 years, you renew that contract. A lease option is where you have an option to buy the property. And normally you find lease options when they're up for rent and for sale at the same time. So let me just have a look and see if I can find it, because I'm sure I've seen something like that. Oh my gosh, look at that! And it's reduced. They want to sell it and they want to rent it. This is the perfect lease option. So they want £1,100 a month, and I'm going to look at it on RightMove because I find RightMove a bit easier. So let's just have a look at this. So 360,000 to buy. Here's the thing with lease option. You wouldn't need to pay that now. You'd pay £1 now, and you would pay the 360,000 in 10 years' time. However, in 10 years' time, that property is probably going to be worth 600,000 because on average, property prices double every 10 years. So we've got a nice little living room there, kitchen. So the kitchen's a little bit old. We could do some work there. Bedroom. So this is 2 beds, 2 baths. So we've got sitting room, dining room, little kitchen, 2 bedrooms, and the 2 bathrooms is nice because when people go away and they stay in holiday cottages, they like bathrooms. So let's have a look at the sale history. Oh, look at this. 1996, this little property was 60 grand. 2003, this little property was 175 grand. 2006, 315 grand. 2013, 285, and today they want to sell it for 360. So let's have a look if you just rent this property. They want £1,100 a month. The first thing I'm going to do is go on Booking.com and look at what my nightly rate could be. So here we go. We're staying in Feb again. 2 adults. Well, it could sleep 4, couldn't it? But let's have a look just for 2 adults. In Bakewell, what can we get? So we've got a holiday home that's 3 beds, £911 for 2 nights. I suppose it could be school holidays, couldn't it? We'll do 17th to the 19th of March, so we get a good feeling about price? Oh, bloody hell, it's more expensive. £953 in March for 2 nights there. We've got Swallow Cottage, £808. We've got a duplex apartment, £564. We've got the Stables, a little 2-bed house, £400. 2-bed holiday home, £400. Fine, let's take the £400, £200 per night. First of all, we would normally work out occupancy on 80% because that's pretty much the UK average 80% occupancy. Say if there's 30 days in a month, I'm gonna do 80% of that. So that gives me 24 days, say. So 24 days times £200 equals 4,800. So my rent's £1,000. So my rent's gonna be paid. I've got utilities and bills to be paid. And housekeepers. So what we say is from the gross turnover, so from the 4,800, you would profit at 40%. So we would make 1,920. So that wouldn't be a bad rent-to-rent deal. Now, what would you need to do with this property? It looks in good condition. I would want to maybe change this worktop and change some of this bits around here. But you can have them sprayed nowadays or wrapped, and it wouldn't be that expensive. So I've been negotiating with the landlord, and what you could say to the landlord is, look, I'm not leaving a deposit because I'm a company, and I'm long-term leasing this for 5 years, so there's no deposit locked up for you or for me. And what I've typically done is got my landlords to, if they're not happy with no deposit, like 0 deposit schemes, there's no money that's in, maybe £200, I would be saying to my landlord, I want a 2-month rent free, so you can have the bookings coming in. What does your landlord get for that? Well, they get 5 years guaranteed rent, no tenants. So I'm a limited company that's got this a commercial lease on this building. So if I don't pay, they could boot me out in 4 weeks. That's massive for the landlord. And what you could suggest is, look, I'll upgrade the kitchen, no cost to you, make it, more modern, make it a bit better there, give me 2 months rent free, no deposit, you get in, you start churning out that amount of money. I mean, 1,920 net. By the time you come to start paying your rent, you've got money in the bank. Now, they can't be done with literally no money because you need to buy lock boxes, you're gonna need to buy guest supplies and things, but you could pretty much do this without like loads and loads of money. What some of our students do at Touchstone is they're so successful with this, they'll have lots of rent-to-rent properties like this in a company, and then they'll sell off the company. Or what I'm suggesting is, this just cries out for a lease option. Look at this, beautiful little property. The owner's desperate to do some things. It's on for sale and for rent. This could be a beautiful lease option, and that's what I would do. Now, what are the downsides to rent? You don't own the property. So this is just a cash flow strategy. This is not real wealth. So what we say is, if you want to start somewhere, you can get started with rent, get the cash coming in, but then start buying assets for real long-term wealth. So that's one of the issues. Second issue, SA, you need to know what you're doing. You need to understand the compliance. Bakewell Council, do I need planning permission? Am I allowed to run this? Some are attached, so that's setting the precedent in Bakewell, so you should be okay. You'd need to make sure your guests behave, and they're not causing a nuisance. So there's lots of things to do with this. Get trained and educated, apply that knowledge and do it well. You'll absolutely smash the rent-to-rent market. Thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Property Investing with Abi. Like this video, comment and tell me what your thoughts are. Would you do this? Would you take it on as a lease option? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time.